for Elevate, I mean, game number 2, they're going to really have to reconsider their drafting phase. They don't want to find everybody getting caught up. And that Kenshin did everything he possibly could as far as picking up the Phantom first active. I mean, that's just because you're so concerned that DaleyDale's actually going to be a potent threat on the Odin, and he was.
Well, this time Elevate will be that second pick, trying to really figure out what strategy they want to go for, because with all these roster shakeups here between their solo, mid, and hunter, they really need to find their new identity here. I'm not too sure if those old members were the reasoning why they experimented so much with their draft, but playing that more standard composition that last game didn't seem to favor them compared to how they used to play.
It did look a little bit more awkward on the side of Elevate. It seemed as though DoctorL really wanted to be this super aggressive factor because of the fact that he was playing Thor. But then the times that he did look for the aggression, his team just didn't really have the follow-up for him. And with every single lane losing and falling behind in pressure, there's really not much else that a Thor can do except follow suit.
That's true, but at least he did attempt to kill Delnyy a number of times there. Just needs to find it a little bit cleaner here, as he will get locked in the Susano this time around. We saw what Starboys was able to do with it, so taking that option away from him.
But Starboys able to pick up the Zeus and Hun Batz. That is a scary combination, because when you get locked inside of that Zeus storm, that is not the place you want to be in.
Definitely not a fun monkey party inside that Zeus lightning storm. No dancing there at all. Bellona locked in for Starboys. No solo laner quite yet for Elevate, as Medusa gets locked in. I'm expecting Starboys to start banning out some solo laners with that Bellona pick.
And it's actually going to be the Khepri, which I don't disagree with either, because of the fact that they already have their support locked in with the Ganesha. And there it is, the Odin takeaway. They did not want to fall victim to DaleyDale inside of that ring again.
There was just so much shenanigans out of this support player. He even made such an early rotation in that solo lane that almost caught Kenshin off guard. Not going to find that kill, but the rotation was there, the mindset was there, the itemization was there, and he did everything in his power to be that utility support player. We'll see what he elects to go for now with Odin off the table. Elevate with the next pick, taking the Chaac here. Relatively safe pick in the solo.
I mean, I kind of expected it as well, considering Odin, Osiris, Robin, Hercules, Sun Wukong. They're all off the board. Bellona's picked up. You need something with a little bit of pressure, or at least that's what Elevate was looking for, was something with a little bit of pressure and its own clear potential, and that's what Nexamiss is going to be able to find within this Chaac.
Nike pick, though, for Starboys, and with the Bellona locked in, more than likely it's going to be a Nike in the jungle, unless DaleyDale will want this in the support. It's going to be Hun Batz jungle.
I think it's going to be Nike in the support role, I believe. I feel as though DaleyDale would prefer to have the Nike. It's kind of similar play style as far as utility is concerned in comparison to the Odin, and we know that DaleyDale really can branch out outside of this because, like I mentioned, he is a very mechanically skilled player when it comes to the console world. Well,
it seems that Starboys are going to want to be super aggressive with this Nike, trying to get that 10 kill stack marker, but against the Poseidon last pick for Elevate, we'll see if that's going to be very fruitful as we're going to head into game 2. Elevate, they need to bounce back here. That one loss in that earlier this set currently, they can't fall too far behind because there's just not that many weeks remaining before Valencia begins.
And I'm sure that they're all keeping that in mind, so the pressure is definitely on. But the same could be said for Starboys, really excited and trying to ride that momentum from their first win, from their win in game number 1. It can also kind of work against you, where you just get a little over-excited, over-anxious to close a set out and secure your team those 3 points.
DaleyDale going for the Ragnar's Mask yet again, really expecting a lot of action to start things off, even going for the Girdle Frenzy belt here. Gryphon slays, taking a decent amount of poke before the waves meet, being left in a 1v2 as his support opted to rotate for mid.
But look at that damage from Mr. Teep. Oh, Cloud wishes he had his detonator right now.
Oh my goodness. Even Kenshin using that Girdle Frenzy was not really enough to out-damage the Zeus Hun Batz combination. It's just not enough though, but trading out speed for blue buff currently, Starboys get their speed, or rather Elevate speed, but they lose their blue, so Delnyy not going to have the regen to spam his abilities the way he really wants.
I'm kind of surprised Delnyy didn't look to just try and solo away that blue buff. Might not have been anticipating them to go immediately for his own blue. Probably thought that they would be on the speed first, if anything. And just a little unfortunate that he's unable to lock down that elemental, but he's got the
Joey,
squad.
Donut, and Cloud. The squad is here indeed. They're going to secure their own Fire Giant elementals or make it their own Fire Giant elementals, but not going for the blue buff quite yet. Instead, trying to put pressure onto the solo lane before their next step. As the wave connects, though, you have to always make this calculated decision. Do you go for the wave? Do you go for a blue buff? And it seems that Elevate, they want the blue buff for Delnyy.
Having the blue buff, I think, would have been a lot more beneficial for Delnyy. DoctorL, though, forced into his beads already, and Joey Donut cutting off his path of escape. Both these hunters have speed buffs available, but I think DoctorL is going to be able to get out of danger this time.
I mean, there's just no issue for a Susano to be able to escape. He has his own speed buff. Not only that, the way the passive works, giving you an insane amount of mobility, but Mr. Teep, he's in a lot of trouble under his own tier 1 tower. Nice rotation from DaleyDale.
And that was a beautiful leap over the wall by DaleyDale, dropping the damage. And Kenshin, he just needed one more auto attack, and he was toast.
That's so unfortunate for Cloud. Whenever you're any player, honestly, for a Zeus to not find the kill, DoctorL has made the rotation. Cloud uses that Aegis damage a little prematurely there, and he's going to take a spill, being left alone for just a split moment, getting taken advantage of.
Bit of a panic Aegis, I think. I think he was concerned, or he felt as though DaleyDale would be able to get there a little bit sooner to provide some help to him. Joey Donut with the cheeky Batz 3.
So Cloud seems to me like he's one of these little lost gazelles that needs to always be inside the pack and the herd, and if he's left alone, he's just going to get eaten by a lion.
I don't know. Cloud can pop off on his own. I just think that it's a very inconsistent factor whether or not Cloud is going to go super ham in a 1v1 scenario, but working around his team, I think, is really where he prospers. Having his team keep him in check, like you said, I think is a really, really good way to go about.
Still in an advantageous position here as he hits level 5 before Mr. Teep even just now hits level 4 in the solo lane, though. Delnyy still the focus of the action here coming out of Elevate. In game number 1, they weren't successful in finding these kills, but so far, starting things off nicely because the Bellona wasn't level 5 yet. Not
to mention that DoctorL just seems so much more comfortable making these early game rotations and paths of aggression on the Susano than the Thor. With Thor, he was unable to find the follow-up by himself, but Susano's an entirely different story, plus he's got a ton more survivability.
And currently, Bellona doesn't have too much protection, so the damage here between DoctorL and Nexamiss really takes into effect here. Speed buff has respawned, and Elevate will secure their own speed buff this time around, and I wouldn't be surprised if they look for some more action around the side of Starboys' jungle.
I'm actually glad to see Elevate placing so much aggression, considering how that first blood went in the mid lane. It just shows that they're trying to work things out on other portions of the map.
And what's most importantly was that the first blood went to DaleyDale. Normally, you kind of scold your support after getting a first blood, but honestly, you have to praise him this time because he has the Ragnar's Mask. You want him to be able to stack that as quickly as possible.
Starboys looking to force a fight, beating in that Gold Fury, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Mr. Teep already falling so low, but now Joey Donut is out of position.
Gets pulled in, but uses that ultimate defensively. Not enough time. DaleyDale trying to find a cleanup kill. Won't find it. Unfortunate. Detonate. Not enough damage onto DoctorL. Supernova being used defensively just to survive for the moment. Finding that one clean pick onto Joey Donut. Could have been answered with 2 of their own, but just couldn't confirm it quite yet. Zeus is only level 6. Doesn't have boots completed quite yet.
Everybody was so low in both of those fights, or on both sides. It's just that Starboys were the ones who, unfortunately, suffered the loss.
There's 2 factors that could have went for a Starboys factor. If Zeus was level 7, he gets the kill. That's a 1 rank higher on the detonate. He gets the pen boots there. He has the extra damage, has the extra penetration to be able to find the damage on that detonate. A really unfortunate set of circumstances for Starboys, but still being able to keep up in the farm, keep up in the experience. Mr. Teep just now hitting level 6, still hasn't back to base for those pen boots.
Additionally, Cloud was just entirely out of mana. He could have maybe looked to have the turnaround off of Joey Donut's ult, because Joey Donut had a great ult there. It's just there was nobody to follow up on it.
He took too much damage too quickly, it seemed, to be able to really get off his full rotation of cooldowns for Joey Donut. And getting caught out of position like that as a jungler, you want to be able to force the engagement as a jungler, not get engaged on. So DoctorL making the plays happen.
And you've got to appreciate that map awareness this time around from DoctorL, trying to be everywhere at once. Speaking of everywhere, he's coming into the backside of Starboys, but now Mr. Teep able to clean up DaleyDale, will fall himself to Joey Donut, but DoctorL picking up Clow.
Those Dharmic Pillars just keeping everyone in check for Starboys. Clow having to use that Aegis Amulet. Delnyy is going to get caught out by Nexamiss, who has a 2-level lead here on this Chaac. Even having the Swift Wing in the mid lane, though. Nice rotation. Joey Donut gets taken out here, but not before he takes out DoctorL.
Bluestone OP.
Bluestone is indeed pretty powerful, especially on a Susano that has even more damage over time with that jet stream. So still a good trade here, I would say, at the end of the day for DoctorL to be able to find that kill at the last brief second.
I think it's interesting how Nexamiss opted to still pick up a Swiftwing despite having teleport as his active choice. That's a lot of mobility getting back into the lanes, maybe looking to do a ton of rotations, and it's got to be paying off. He's level 10 in comparison to Delnyy, who's level 7, and Chaac in general is just a lane bully.
Well, the thing is, whenever you make the teleport happen from your fountain, you're still getting the benefit of Swiftwing. So if you rotate to a team fight behind and underneath, you'll get to the team fight that much quicker. So I think that could be the mindset out of Nexamiss. Either that, or he's trying to get that cheap, efficient movement speed item just to be able to chase people down by slowing them with a rainstorm.
That's always a lot of fun, and I mean that self-heal from Chaac just does so much.
You can't catch him. He has the Swiftwing currently. That extra 5% movement speed is all he really needs to be able to get out of danger here, even if Joey Donut is going to show his face in that solo lane.
Well, right now, it's, again, DoctorL looking to show his face into the solo lane, trying to just force out the abilities from Joey Donut and Clow.
DaleyDale is here trying to lead the charge. Mr. Teep is going to take some poke. Actually switching to DoctorL there. DaleyDale really doesn't want to allow the Susano any breathing room. Joey Donut, though, uses the beads, avoids the center of that cracking, and now Mr. Teep gets turned around instead.
But Joey Donut is caught off guard by the silence from Kenshin on the backside, making it all too easy for DoctorL to clean him up.
One clean pick so far from Elevate. They're not done yet. They're starting to group up around this left-hand side with Nexamiss right around the corner, and I think that he's going to eventually rotate back to the solo lane. He still has this teleport available.
He can rotate whenever he wants to, but Delnyy wasn't in the solo lane either, so he doesn't have to worry about him pushing up the wave and looking to get some damage onto his T1 tower. With
all those ultimates being used also by Elevate, they don't really want to expend an risky opportunity to try to go for the Gold Fury quite yet. Clow's ultimate was still available right around the corner, but collapsing under mid yet again, forcing out the Aegis out of Cloud. Nexamiss gonna find a lot of slow here. Nice little sounds. Typhoon will find Cloud. DoctorL gets the first kill of that fight.
And DoctorL probably more than happy to have secured that kill onto Clow, considering that Clow even used his ultimate to try and stop it from happening. But it didn't even make a difference.
That's usually what you want to do as a Zeus, right? Like, you don't really have self-peel sometimes, so you have to peel for yourself by just dealing the damage and trying to juke in between your own ultimate.
Unfortunately, just wasn't able to work out for him this time, and Nexamiss just completely ignoring Delnyy, just wanting to clear out the wave.
And with a 2-level advantage here, he's going to be able to back to base, get that second relic, and start making the rotations. And as a Chaac player in the solo lane, you want to make a big impact in these team fights because there's not many chances for Chaac to have that opportunity to make a bigger impact. And Delnyy trying to trade out against Nexamiss despite having a 2-level disadvantage. That Scourge does provide a good portion of sustain rather, but Nexamiss getting the better end of this one. He's able to clear out the wave, and I'm expecting him to start forcing something around the Gold Fury as he is level 12.
Chaac kind of stops doing a lot of things after a certain stage, right around that, I would say from 17 minutes and onward should the game go to that extent, or once everybody starts reaching that little bit past mid-game stride, it can become incredibly difficult for the Chaac to do anything else other than just be a silence.
Ooh, Cloud, though, no Aegis for you this time, getting pulled into the Kraken. DaleyDale forced to retreat on his tier 1 mid tower. Could be a Gold Fury potentially for Elevate, but without the Kraken, becomes a little riskier there. They might need to find at least one more pick before going for it.
And poor Clow, he's already 0-4. So much emphasis has been placed onto focusing down the mid laner from Starboys.
Ooh, a lot of damage from the Supernova. Joey Donut finding Mr. Teep. Nice Fear No Evil. DoctorL will fall as well. Despite Cloud dying, they find 2 in return. Losing DaleyDale kind of sucked for them, but Kenshin is going to get answered in return. Just so many kills back and forth as Joey Donut gets slain by Gryphon.
These two teams are just finding the guys that they want to go on and chasing those ones down. Haven't really been looking too much as far as peeling for each other. Delnyy just focusing on locking down Joey Donut and potentially putting some pressure onto Cameron. And, you know, you saw what happened in the backside. You just got your team completely exposed.
And that was a 3-for-3 at the end of the day. And with this revive from Cloud in that mid lane, he's going to be able to make this rotation to start off the Gold Fury. That Stellar Burst procs those little Oracle Harpies. It's going to make it a little bit more difficult. Girdle gets pocked here, and Starboys does walk away cleanly. Gryphon did not have his Petrified to be able to steal away that one.
Not super surprised there that they opted to look for that Gold Fury. They knew that Elevate knew that Starboys had to back off, and now it's again just trying to secure another objective. The Portal Demon's free.
That's what happens whenever you lose Gold Fury. You try to get that 750 on the right. Get that Portal Demon down. Try to be healthy to use the portal for more mobility for that 1 extra minute. This is why we're seeing this up and down spike in the graph here between both of these teams. Thus far, Elevate are doing a good job containing the one little advantage that Starboys had with that Gold Fury.
The fights and the objective control have been really back and forth for these teams, and it's hard to say who's really getting the best end of it, because Elevate actually have a decent lead. It's not a phenomenal one, but it's enough for right now.
They're trying to still force out more team fights, Starboys, because they have that Nike, because they have Ragnar's Mask on DaleyDale, and they're looking to get that second stack on the Nike. We heard the Laurel being popped about 2 minutes ago once they killed those 250 minions, but Delnyy getting a kill onto Nexamiss with the help of Joey Donut's Fear No Evil.
And that's kind of just what happens. And unfortunately for Nexamiss, just when you get CC'd out, you can't drop your ultimate.
That's true. As a Chaac player, before you go immune, you can still get crowd controlled quite heavily, which is why a lot of soul laners will opt to try to go for maybe some crowd control reduction to get their ultimate online. But against a Fear No Evil, CC reduction is not going to help you against a well-placed Fear No Evil, especially if it's against the wall.
Starboys just need to draw as much attention away from the mid lane as possible, which is why I think we see Joey Donut trying to linger around in the soul lane side so much. Cloud's already 0-4 and he's level 11. He's already behind Mr. Teep. They want to take off some of the pressure from the mid lane, and that's exactly what they're doing, aggressing again in this soul lane aspect, forcing out DoctorL's beads and ultimate.
Trying to survive for as long as he can, waiting for some rotations from his teammates, but it's just not happening, not around the corner. They're all more contempt about trying to find the farm. But to be fair, though, they all had to back to finish off some very important power spike items already. Mr. Teep finishing off some more penetration and trying to look to be a gem of isolation, starting that belt 1 so far.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's a pretty standard build for Poseidons to look for that gem of isolation, following up a little bit of damage, just because they want to be as utility as possible, and having that gem of iso is really just going to slow things down for
Trying
Starboys.
to siege that tier 1 tower elevator, all grouped up around 5. Delnyy is here alongside DaleyDale, getting pulled out of that tower though. Delnyy taking a lot of damage for his troubles. Tier 1 tower still stands, did take a little bit of portion of its health, but still, Elevate, whenever given an opportunity, they're not afraid to take the chance for an objective.
And there's nothing wrong with taking the chance. I mean, sometimes that's what you need to do when you're already having a decent bit of pressure over the enemy team. If you just maintain and stay grouped, then you'd be surprised what you can accomplish.
Still flirting with the idea between sieging that tier 1 mid tower, but everybody's here from Starboys as we see Cameron getting those oracles on the left side. Very contempt about maximizing his farm. He recognizes that there's no team fight going on in the mid lane. Instead, going to really min-max that farm here, trying to what looks to be. Do you expect him to finish off that Ratatouille? Cameron?
I don't think so. That'd be kind of an insane early rush. He might look for it just because he's kind of just been left alone in that dual lane, but I think that that's a lot of gold early on to be expending.
A Chronos Pendant, though, on a Soul. Normally, that's not something we see very often here, but the idea is pretty interesting because you're going to be getting off more Disapparates. You're going to be getting more self-sustained from proccing your first ability, which also helps out by building your passive heat meter, so get more magical power anyway and more attack speed.
And I could see Cameron trying to base it around that, considering he likes having that aggression.
Hold
Speaking
that
of aggression,
thought. Nexamiss diving in the backline, forcing the beats out of Joey Donut. Nice use of that ultimate from the Chaac. Still trying to make his presence really felt by kept throwing these axes, but it's just not going to result in any kills. Instead, just forcing out some defensive relics here. We're looking at both Joey Donut using his beads as well as Clow using that Aegis.
And Clow, again, being another focal point for Starboys. But now it's actually going to be Joey Donut who's getting turned on by Mr. Teep. The Kraken is good, completely destroying his health.
Clow in a lot of trouble as well as Nexamiss trying to find the kill onto him. Cameron was thinking about making that rotation, but the rest of his teammates is calling to retreat. So after all that action, just one death onto Joey Donut. Not something that Starboys were really looking for, considering he was the one that tried to force it himself by looking for that Blink Fear No Evil.
And sometimes that's just what happens. You just get turned on. And I mean, literally Mr. Teep turning the tides onto Joey Donut.
I see what you did there in Elevate. They're trying to turn the tides on this. Golfia responding in kind by getting one of their own, despite Starboys securing theirs earlier this game. Elevate doing a great job, still maintaining a lead. They're trying to find a split in this set currently. A lot is on the line here. A chance to go into DreamHack Valencia. These two teams, it's time for them to go.
Kenshin saying no to DaleyDale, trying to clear out the mid lane. The silence ring Ganesha is just so strong. I think it's really been preventing a lot of the aggression from Starboys.
I mean, the thing is, it doesn't have any crowd control reduction, but hold that thought, though. Portal Demon being started and flirted with, Starboys will secure it. DoctorL is forced to retreat on the backhand side. He took too much damage, and Starboys, they're looking to keep pressing forward, forcing the defensive ultimate out of Nexamiss, and they have this control around the Fire Giant. Unfortunately for them, they just can't secure the objective anyway. It's a little bit too early, I would say.
But same can't be said for Gryphon. He's in the wrong spot, trying to make his way over to the T2 tower, just like he saw Kenshin doing, but unable to get out, just completely chased down by the rest of Starboys.
Finally, Starboys is able to get a little bit more than just that Portal Demon, finding the kill onto Gryphon. Slays now sieging that tier 1 mid tower, forcing out some ultimates as well as DaleyDale is leading the charge. Delnyy finding the bludgeon, trying to get off a defensive ultimate yet again. Joey Donut is just such a nuisance in that backline, getting the Typhoon from DoctorL.
Joey Donut is just trying to force out as much as possible. It's kind of what you have to do as Hun Batz. You don't really have much of an other option. But I really like how he's opted to build, because with this kind of build, that's 30% CDR, which means he's really just going to have that ultimate up pretty frequently.
And there's been a lot of experimentation between different items here for junglers. Hold that thought. Delnyy taking a lot of damage with DoctorL, making this rotation. Nexamiss uses his ultimate, needs to find one axe and will connect. Delnyy taking a spill, but yet again, Joey Donut is in position to try to find a cleanup, just not enough realistic damage to find it in a 1v2. But as I was talking about before, junglers have been experimenting a lot with these items. Would you rather have seen him go for the more traditional or recent traditional item of Shifter Shield, or do you like this 30% CDR out of him?
I think he's just trying to prioritize his ultimate to really have that setup potential for Clow, and in that regard, I would probably prefer the 30% CDR rush as opposed to the Shifter Shield.
Looking like it's putting himself in a good position, trying to keep his tier 1 mid tower alive for the moment. Joey Donut using the beats to avoid the cripple, but can't avoid even the outer ring of that Kraken. Mr. Teep getting credited with that kill. Forces the Aegis though, avoiding some of the damage from DaleyDale, knocking up Nexamiss, but Nexamiss is actually more interested in Clow.
And I don't think that they're going to be able to find out for much longer, as Clow is just surviving underneath that T1 tower.
Delnyy wrapping around underneath after he revived, finding Nexamiss, just staying too long than necessary. Mr. Teep could fall as well. Nice little pull from DoctorL from Delnyy. Mr. Teep trying to survive a little bit longer, but this time, Elevate, they walk away cleanly.
I think that they were expecting Clow to die a lot sooner than what he actually did, but just a little bit too much of a commit with so much available for Starboys, and that was a solid defensive hold, and the fact that Cloud lives is even better.
It just seemed that Aegis Amulet absorbed so many cooldowns out of all of Elevate. The Storm Kata was basically absorbed, Typhoon as well. The damage coming out of Nexamiss was negated. It was a great survival tactic from Cloud, even barely avoiding those Dharmic Pillars.
I was super surprised that he lived after the Dharmic Pillars were dropped, and that just shows the kiting that he had to work around inside of that tower line.
And with Gold Fury still down, it makes sense as to why there's so much action on the right-hand side of the map. Gold Fury will respawn in less than 50 seconds worth of play as Nexamiss has made the rotation. There's no defensive relics for Cloud this time around.
And that was a beautiful rotation by Nexamiss. He's not going to have any issues whatsoever tanking up a couple of T1 tower shots. So for Starboys to just completely get caught off guard right there.
5-on-4 for 30 seconds as Cloud is waiting to revive, trying to siege his tier 1 mid tower. JoeyDonut though from the side, finding the Blink ultimate, as well as Kenshin from the side trying to survive for a little bit longer here. Always responding in kind is Starboys as they find a kill onto Mr. Teep, and without this Poseidon player, it's going to be very difficult to continue the action.
DaleyDale though still trying to go in alongside of Cameron and Delnyy. They want to keep trying to push into this.
Look at this. Look at the left-hand side, Taco. We see Gryphon getting this tier 2 tower on by himself. JoeyDonut was just not in position at the right time, but this could be trouble for Gryphon Slays. He's trying to escape the clutches from 4 members.
He was able to juke out the Batz ability, but Batz has that speed buff and that huge crit.
Oh, the ultimate from the Medusa doing a lot of damage, even juking out the Zeus ultimate, dashing back in, but just not enough teammates by his side to bail him out.
I thought he was gonna find Cloud there for sure. Unfortunate, just a couple of in-hands and he wasn't able to connect with, but still really well played by Gryphon to survive as long as he did, just buying his team so much time.
Delnyy just being a nuisance in the backline as the rest of his teammates are starting up that Gold Fury, sitting at about 50% health. Elevate are looking to try to make it reset, has done so successfully as DaleyDale uses his ultimate, getting a huge boost in that shield. Delnyy still looking for some more poke as Starboys continue the gold.
And you've got to appreciate what Starboys are trying to do as far as pressuring the Gold Fury. They want to make sure that Elevate don't try and poke their heads into this territory. Otherwise, they're just going to look to lock them down.
Well, DoctorL is going to almost get locked down. He's barely able to escape with that Storm Kata. Nexamiss boxing out JoeyDonut. Girdle means go. Dharmic Pillars means Gold Fury secured by Starboys. Still looking for some more action as Typhoon cuts off Delnyy. DaleyDale trying to escape on the right-hand side, but this should be a clean disengage.
Oh, that huge Kraken, but just not finding the damage that he would have wanted. Mr. Teep unable to clean anybody up there. However, Cloud is still so low, and Cameron finding DoctorL. Now it's Gryphon trying to put down the hurt.
Everyone is low on Starboys. They're all in the red. They're trying to go one way or the other. Petrify is going to slow out Delnyy. The bludgeon connects on the slam. Mr. Teep, where are you at, says Delnyy. That's a 2 for 3 at the end of the day, but Starboys still coming out on top with that Gold Fury at the 24-minute mark.
And I almost can't believe how low everybody was for so long, and just couple of members able to squeak out of there on such low HP. JoeyDonut, only member from Starboys right now, trying to contest this Portal Demon.
But all this action has been benefiting Starboys at the end of the day with that Ragnar's mask. We keep talking about this mask from DaleyDale, but it's past that 6-stack mark, and on top of this, Starboys are past the 10-kill marker, trying to get 2 of their members to that level 20 mark. They already have Cameron already there, so they almost have that maximized movement speed and power, which could really accelerate their damage in these team fights.
Nike is incredibly team-based, so the longer this game goes, the more it's going to benefit DaleyDale as he continues just trying to stack out that Nike passive for the rest of the team, give them that little bit of mobility and physical power, which is always a nice asset to have.
You could tell what kind of a utility player somebody is by their itemization choices. So you're looking at DaleyDale, even going for the Shogun's Kusari on his Nike play. It's not necessarily to benefit him and just because he can cleave those those in hands. You're looking at Cameron that's playing the Soul Hunter. Obviously, Delnyy proccing every ability with his Bellona play. And not only that, Clow, if you're allowing Clow to get off more in hands, that's more charges for his Detonate potentially.
And I mean, that's exactly what Cloud wants. He just wants to farm as many stacks as possible and be launching the full Detonate charges every single time. As Cameron, a little bit of trouble.
Look at Delnyy. Look how sneaky Delnyy is. Just proxying all the way and sneezing on this tier 2 tower. But what goes up must come down on the right-hand side. In the backline is Joey Donut, keeping Gryphon and Mr. Teep busy.
And it's going to be Elevate who actually managed to push out Starboys for the moment, but Delnyy has made the rotation on over to this Fire Giant side, and now the fight's just breaking out everywhere.
Taking a lot of damage, forced to retreat on the left-hand side for the moment. Jumping in is Batz. DaleyDale is going to be the first victim. Mr. Teep taking a lot of damage. Typhoon just ripping down the corridor, and Joey Donut will take a spill to DoctorL.
And Cloud launching the Zeus ultimate as they try to force out this portal demon. Everybody's so low on the side of Elevate. I think they have a solid chance of securing this.
I mean, the health disparity is quite evident on your screen. Gryphon Slays could still do a lot of damage, keeping everybody busy from Starboys for long enough to allow this rotation to happen. Nexamiss using that teleport to be able to get back into the action, pulling back in. Cameron forced to go into the Disapparate. The Detonate from Cloud is just not enough to deter, as Nexamiss still doing a good job zoning as the rest of his team will start that portal demon.
All Nexamiss has to do is stand in front of Starboys, and they really just cannot breach through that defense. That's just crazy. Elevate just dropped that portal demon.
Very easy and clean here performance thus far. They win the team fight. They're able to bounce back into it, but just unfortunate set of circumstances now as Starboys are keeping the game still even here. They haven't been able to separate the gap too far, either one of these teams, compared to that first game, whereas Elevate at this point, we're already sieging these Phoenixes. Or I'm sorry, Starboys were already sieging these Phoenixes.
I mean, that's kind of what you would want to see, though. They obviously amped it up for this second go-round. Their draft is a little bit better, and they're not having to deal with the Odin cages off cooldown.
They're making a good necessary adjustment here with their picks, all able to really escape the clutches of that Odin cage anyway, except the Cloud, but they weren't really too worried about that anyway. Not going to be the case this time for Starboys. They're down 13-20 in the kill department, but this could easily still turn around. Their late game potential is quite strong here, I would say, between Nike's passive, the Shogun's Kusari, with Cameron now trying to really work for this Fatalis. This Soul is going to be dealing quite a punch.
No, that's a ton of a punch between the Bancrofts, the Pen Boots, the Rada Tahuti, and an Obsidian Shard. Even Dynasty Plate Helm gives you a little bit of a boost. So Cameron, as soon as he finishes off this Fatalis, is going to be sitting in a really nice spot, and he's kind of making up for the magical damage that Starboys were lacking because of how focused out Cloud has been getting. He's just been getting picked off consistently. His ultimates, when he has dropped them, have been primarily for zoning rather than damage. So it's actually a really good look for Starboys that Cameron has been able to find as much success as he has on this Soul.
6-5 is Clow, and the damage is not the same as it was the first game, whereas he went for that Doom Orb in game number 1 with that Vulcan, but with all these deaths, he's went for this defensive option with the Wing Blade, trying to get the health, the mobility, even trying to escape some of the slows out of Elevate, specifically out of Nexamiss from that Rainstorm.
Can always appreciate a mid laner who looks to have a little bit of their own survivability factor involved. I like that he went for the damage first of all before looking for the Wing Blade, because when you're being targeted, you just want to start dealing damage. The chances are you're going to die regardless.
I mean, if you're dead, you're not dealing damage anyway, so you might as well survive for a little bit longer and get off some more damage here. On the top of the player damage is Joey Donut thus far, doing a great job with these engagements on his Hunbats. Despite the 6-7-4, which seems like a sloppy scoreline, he's been involved in the majority of his team's kills thus far, and Starboys feeling very confident to go for this Fire Giant.
And right now it's going to be Cloud looking to zone us Elevate again with this is Zeus, and that's what Zeus does best. He's got the zoning factor.
So much space control for Zeus. I'm really surprised we don't see too many Zeuses any longer here. What do you think about Zeus kind of deters away a lot of these mid-mages?
They're kind of just worried about getting targeted out. Zeus isn't exactly the most mobile god and can be very easy to just focus down, especially considering that warriors such as Robin are so popular right now.
It's all about the save factor, but Elevates, they have the save factor for their second gold fury of the game, extending the gold lead ever so slightly. This gold and experience lead is just non-factor at this 30-minute mark. This game is pretty much even here, Taco.
All they really need to do is just keep consistently poking away at each other, but I feel like what's most likely going to happen is somebody's going to get picked, and whoever gets picked is ultimately just going to lead to the enemy team being able to secure that fire giant, because the respawn timers are just so long right now.
And what leads to people getting picked is the vision control, so both of these teams trying to really get those sentry wards in the right position. So far, Starboys have a good formation of wards around this fire giant, one inside the pit, one right above those mid harpies, as DaleyDale still trying to zone out alongside Delnyy, as the fire giant is already sitting at about half health.
And already Elevate looking to just try and stay inside of this pit, but it's going to be actually
secured.
Starboys.
Starboys secures that fire giant. Elevate were not able to get in position. Great zoning from the front liners here, but the pull onto Cloud. This is what you were talking about here, Taco. The Zeus can't survive.
And it's going to be DaleyDale who falls on top of that. Cameron isn't able to get out either. Nexamiss cleaning him up. Delnyy doesn't have enough health. I don't think he can survive the onslaught either. Mr. Teep, the Aegis, is going to be good.
Nice knock up to prevent the slam from that bludgeon, keeping Mr. Teep alive despite all 5 members from Starboys getting the fire giant. They lose 4 of them. They lose their tier 2 on right. And Nexamiss, he's leading the charge for his team. He's like, hey guys, I'm taking this. Go get it.
Cost of a Phoenix and 4 lives for the fire giant. That isn't worth it. I mean, the concept behind it and the zoning was so great by Starboys. Just incredibly unfortunate they were able to completely disengage off of that one.
And you would think that they would be able to disengage, considering they have the Nike passive, all this mobility on their side as well. You're looking at Delnyy here with this Masamune trying to get some more extra movement speed. Nice little Fear No Evil, forcing out the beats out of Gryphon and the Aegis out of DoctorL. Typhoon gets used, but a nice beast from Joey Donut is going to turn the tides.
And the crit, I don't think DoctorL was anticipating that one, and just completely chunked away at his health.
I mean, look at the build from Joey Donut. He has a nice mixture between abilities and in-hands as well. He has the Yonan's Wrath and the Titan's Bane to augment those abilities with the penetration and the cooldowns, but then he has that Heartseeker Hydra's Lament trying to really min-max using his in-hands in between those abilities.
What I really like is the Mantle of Discord that he opted to pick up, because a lot of the damage from Elevate is just going to be damage that's trying to stay on top of him. Gryphon opting for that Fatalis means that if he gets a little bit too close, Joey Donut might be able to get away as well as set up his team. I mean, that's basically a mini Gebel.
I mean, Medusa's fast enough with or without the Fatalis. You just add that item on top of it, it becomes a lot trickier to really deal with this Snake Goddess here. Even going for a Bloodforge from this Medusa, one of these later stages items that we see because of the risk versus reward factor. Gryphon taking a lot of damage. A nice little blink engage in the backline from Joey Donut. Gonna catch out Gryphon, slays Mr. Teep. Can only be a spectator from that tier 2 tower.
And there's really nothing that Elevate can do now. They need to fall back away from this T2 tower. Even though Starboys used a lot to secure that one, it's still going to be good enough, and Clow is again getting bursted down.
Nexamiss is in a great spot as he helps DoctorL take out Cloud, trading 1-for-1. Hunter for mid laner. This 4-on-4 will favor out Starboys in the meantime. Or I'm sorry, Elevate, because they have that fire minions flooding down the right that Starboys has to worry about.
And that's exactly why we see Starboys turning tail and running away. They want to make sure that they're back in time to prevent their Titan from taking a massive amount of poke damage from all of the creep waves.
It seems to me that Elevate, they want to try to find a sneaky okey-doke around this corner, but a nice ward will spot DoctorL around the corner, using the jet stream and the pull. Mr. T with a Kraken, but a nice Aegis to buy some time for Cameron. Joey Donut diving the back and taking advantage of Mr. T without that Kraken.
And it's going to be DaleyDale just defending that right-hand Phoenix, and Joey Donut is going on to DoctorL.
He's trying to find it. He needs to find it. Dharmic Pillars will peel for the jungler, but he leaves himself in danger instead as he gets engaged on Cameron, taking out Kenshin.
Hey, that's some good support play right there.
Absolutely.
Sacrificing his life for DoctorL, who's been such a huge component for Elevate, just locking down these team fights and bursting down damage.
So now Kenshin gets 2 pats in the back instead of 1 off of that. Normally supports, they usually get credit like, okay, you did a good job. Here's 1 pat in the back. Oh, you saved my life? Here's an extra pat in the back.
I mean, Kenshin just makes the plays when he needs to. Speaking of making the plays when they need to, Gryphon trying to make his own play onto Cameron. Meanwhile, Clow in the 1v1 exchange with DoctorL.
Not a place you'd really want to be as a level 18 Zeus, not wanting to use those relics by himself. DoctorL could easily try to find the pull onto Cameron instead, diving the right side, using that supernova defensively. Great play out of Cameron, keeping himself alive.
I think that's all DoctorL and Nexamiss wanted, though, was just to try and force out his ultimate. And as soon as they saw the other members rotating, they knew that they just had to back off. But I would say that this has definitely been a win for Starboys overall, simply because they weren't really able to apply map pressure elsewhere, even after it took the right-hand Phoenix from Starboys. So now that Phoenix respawning, Starboys are free to just push this wave back up, and with the Fire Giant spawning, both teams are just going to have to try and prepare for the next Fire Giant siege.
And that's exactly what Elevate seems to be doing, trying to really find a pick somewhere around that Fire Giant buff. Cameron doing a great job surviving. Doesn't have Supernova available to him for a little bit longer as Clow used his ultimate as well, but with that red buff onto the Zeus here, needing to be very mindful about the positioning out of Elevate. The area of effect damage control that Clow will provide, whether or not he's 0-8, will be proven very clearly at the 37-minute mark with this almost full build out of him.
Well, he might not be full build quite yet, but everybody else in this game pretty much sure is. And you've got Gryphon opting for the Bloodforge last item, give himself a little bit of sustainability in these boxing matches against Cameron on the Soul. And really, these team fights are about to start going just one direction or the other. It's all about who gets the first pick.
I mean, it's never a good feeling whenever you're a mid-mage and your supports are able to out-item you. Nexamiss leading the charge for his teammates, really just wanting to get off some poke and maybe use that axe for a rainstorm, but instead holding onto it for a moment as the rest of his teammates start off the Fire Giant sitting at about half health. DoctorL poking out Cameron, using that Aegis for the time being, finding the pull yet again. They're not done with the Soul.
Cameron is just trying to get off as much damage as possible, but DoctorL is too fast with that speed buff. He's dropping the ultimate now onto Cameron, who will get cleaned up by Nexamiss.
Nice little job there, but Mr. Teep answers in kind, killing out Delnyy. 2 dead on the side of Starboys. Very clean engaged by Elevators. DoctorL is still trying to juke out the overhand smash, even jukes out the Fear No Evil, jukes out the Monkey. The Kraken barely on the mark. The Susano lives to fight another day.
Joey Donut 82, you greedy little monkey, just back off.
Not able to back off. He wants some more kills. He allowed his team to kill off 4 people from Starboys. Only Gryphon dying in the process. That's actually a good thing, though, for Starboys that they killed at least Gryphon, because now it's going to take a lot longer of a time to take out these towers and Phoenixes.
They're more lucky than anything else. That's kind of just dumb luck that it was Gryphon who ended up falling, because that would probably be game otherwise.
Certainly more than likely will be. The Emperor's armor, though, showing its effectiveness to keep their Phoenixes alive a little bit longer here. It increases the attack speed, so these late game protection items will be less impactful. And just look how resilient this Phoenix is without the Hunter here. Only at about half health after about 10 seconds of sieging.
Well, because of that overcommit by Joey Donut, Elevate are going to be able to lock down that mid Phoenix, and that is, again, in favor of Elevate, but the question is, are they going to be able to capitalize off of that, or will the Phoenix just respawn, kind of like what we saw happen in the right-hand lane?
We'll see Kenshin use those Dharmic Pillars, trying to secure the Portal Demon for his teammates. They really want to be able to get this portal to be able to back cleanly, spend the gold in hand, and get back into the action for this Fire Giant, also to help out Gryphon as he's respawned.
And already Elevate, I think that this is the right mindset. Just back, everybody heal up, and then look to position yourselves in a way that you can kind of permit DoctorL to just run towards that backline yet again. He did an excellent job last time finding 2 members off guard with his ultimate, and I think that the disrupt potential that he has in that backside of Susano and the baiting potential that he has apparently to get an entire team to just chase after him for half the map. I mean, that is always working in your advantage.
If DoctorL plays the way he did that last team fight in the next upcoming one, I don't see a possibility for Starboys to get back into this game. They're already down 10,000 gold at the 40-minute mark as Fire Giant gets started for the second time from Elevate. Really looking out to close out this game and walk away with at least a split. Delnyy taking a little bit of poke for his troubles alongside DexAmiss. DaleyDale forced to disengage on the left side as Fire Giant gets leashed.
He's already fairly poked out, but I mean, that wasn't all DoctorL. Hold that thought, though. It could be DaleyDale. The Kraken is played out, but it doesn't connect.
Gets baited out there. Mr. Teep just not on the mark with that cooldown. Nexamiss is forced to retreat for the moment here, jumping up and down. DaleyDale nowhere to go, no escape, no ultimate, but on the left-hand side, trying to dive. Kenshin instead, gonna find the kill onto him, but not until Starboys takes a lot of damage, and here comes Nexamiss.
And DoctorL cleaning up Clown, punishing him for dropping everything onto Kenshin, but it's Joey Donut, and he ends up finding Mr. Teep. Always good to find a kill whenever you commit, and now he picks up Gryphon as well.
Joey Donut is not done yet. The crits are real, but he's gonna fall to DoctorL. Sunder not on the mark either from Delnyy. Unfortunate set of circumstances. 3 for 3 at the end of the day here. Starboys just can't get anything rolling, and Elevate can't convert their 10,000 gold lead advantage.
Elevate can't commit. They haven't been committing to the Fire Giant. I would like to see them just look for that all-in commit onto the Fire Giant. They have a significantly better secure factor for this objective in comparison to Starboys, who would have to try and rely on the delay from the Soul Ultimate or for Cloud to just have the perfect Zeus ult on top of that.
And it seems that Mr. Teep's ultimate was just in no man's land that last encounter, not connecting onto DaleyDale as he was able to backpedal away from it at the last moment. But on top of that, would you even want, even if it did connect in the center, do you want to see Mr. Teep in the late game use a Kraken on only a level 19 Nike?
I would not want to see him ever looking to ult that Nike again, because there's really no point. As long as DaleyDale pops his ultimate, he's going to be just fine from any sort of Kraken. He's an entirely too tanky factor to really be reckoned with, and I do think that the punish onto DaleyDale afterwards was excellent, because he did jump in looking to be aggressive, but the rest of his team was split off on that left-handish side. So I think he does need to be careful in that regard. But Elevate, I think they just need to make a commitment to the objective. That's the... It's not the safest play, but I think it's their best play.
Elevate are now revived and all healthy alongside Starboys, though, but the only difference here is that Starboys need to worry about the mid. Girdle means go, and Dharmic Pillars means secure this Fire Giant. Even Kraken from Mr. T will help Elevate secure it. DoctorL trying to get out of dodge here, uses the beads and the Aegis, still looking for the opportunity. Supernova is trying to help Joey Donut escape as he goes to that speed buff. Typhoon ripping down the middle as Gryphon is trying to survive under his own tier 2.
Meanwhile, Cloud is picking up DoctorL, who is kind of left on his own, trying to zone away 3. Gryphon is going to clean up Delnyy, who is trying to dive him and Mr. Teep in the backside. And Joey Donut, he's got a speed buff. He'll be fine.
I mean, that's all he really needs. So honestly, to be fair, he needed that speed buff to survive. Barely able to survive with a jump and the blink under his own. Gold Fury barely able to survive that one.
Nexamiss trying to catch him out again, see if he's going to try the lazy back, but this time he's running all the way home.
If only he was playing the Slaughterhouse Chaac while he was making that chase, and he'd be like, like trying to, like, role-playing as Chaac /
Jason,
yeah.
Yeah, don't worry, I won't hinder you.
I was going to say
it's
Freddy
okay.
for a second. I'm like, this is not Freddy.
It's okay, I won't hinder you. It's fine, totally.
All right, thank you. There's no Harveys in here.
We can't have another Stone Cold Steve Harvey.
No more
Trust
Harveys.
Me. That's mine to hold. All right, that's my staple.
You can definitely hold that Harvey.
Meanwhile, Elevate trying to hold onto this lead. They have the Fire Giant, and it's working out pretty well for them so far, but they need to try and look for the aggression on either the mid or the right-hand side, considering that those are already the weakened Phoenixes. They're just having a hard time really staying all together. It's incredibly difficult. Every single time these fights have been breaking out, it's always been one or two members kind of just separated from the rest of the pack. But if they stay as one unit with a little bit of spread out, don't stay too grouped up. They do have a Batz and a Zeus on the enemy team.
That's true. Joey Donut has been making those plays in the backline every single time, but this is go time for Elevate. Sometimes you don't always want to force the issue 5-on-5 when you're at full health for both teams, but with Fire Giant of 4 members for Elevate for another minute and 50 seconds and having full build all across the board, even a 3K pot across the board here, Elevate could certainly get these 2 Phoenixes at least. They're starting on the right-hand side, on the solo lane side, really waiting for more minions, I guess, down the mid before they aggress towards the right.
And already these teams are just doing such an excellent job, I would say. I think that Starboys have also done a great job at holding. And I think that Elevate, if they're not careful, could very easily have this turned against them.
Well, it's up to Starboys to hold on to their Phoenix for every last dying breath, but Joey Donut uses his ultimate on the mid against DoctorL instead of the right-hand side. Delnyy diving the back with DaleyDale, both ultimates being used there. Girdle means go, and Delnyy gets taken out.
And already Mr. Teep's got to be feeling pretty good about that one, locking down the solo laner. Delny's been such an aggressive factor. Joey Donut, though, looking to go in again onto DoctorL, using his blink, but now might be getting turned on.
Oh, he's taking a lot of damage in return, though, but DoctorL needs to retreat. Mr. Teep forcing out the double Aegis's here. DoctorL, an Aegis of himself to overhand smash just a little bit too early there, and walking away with the right side Phoenix is Elevate. They have everybody alive still. DoctorL was forced to go back to base, so it's going to be quite a bit of time before he makes the necessary rotation to continue the siege. But Gryphon, he's not done yet. He really wanted that kill onto DaleyDale, just couldn't connect on all those in-hands.
He had the corner jukes, but now it's Joey Donut. He's in a little bit of trouble as the rest of Elevate starting to swing their way over to this mid-hand Phoenix. The Dharmic Pillars are out, as well as the ultimate from Nexamiss for the silence, but Cameron's here to help the defense.
Mid-Phoenix still standing strong for Starboys. Reviving in 15 seconds is Delnyy. Cameron taking a little bit of poke, and everyone here from Elevate healthy enough to start up the siege yet again, trying to hold this DaleyDale with Joey Donut. The Zeus ultimate in the backhand side, forcing out Gryphon, trying to retreat after that mid-Phoenix Elevate. They get what they came for, slowing out DaleyDale with that Petrify. They need to find the chase here.
They want to find the chase here, but the question is, can they catch up? 3 members already so low. Joey Donut does find Kenshin, first of all, to fall. And DoctorL and Nexamiss, they can't do the same.
No, not at all. That Nike passive showing how powerful it truly can be. They find the kill onto Kenshin. They find this tier 2 mid tower. I'm counting all 5 members here, Taco, for Starboys, but look at the right side. There's going to be some minions under that Titan room.
There's so many minions pouring in right now to the base of Starboys.
Oh! The Kraken taking out Clow and Cameron. No Aegis is available for them. DaleyDale trying to do what he can to survive for a little bit longer, but there's nobody defending the Titan room. That Titan is going to take a lot of poke here with that right side Phoenix exposed, so all Elevate have to do is just keep forcing the issue.
They have to keep fighting, but they also have to keep surviving, and with 2 more members from Elevate dying, they only have Nexamiss left to defend.
Wait. Is this a turnaround play? Wait, they're going for the middle Phoenix. The girl gets popped. The mid Phoenix is getting lower and lower, but the Titan out of Starboys is getting even more lower. Nexamiss, he's trying to hold on for as long as he can. He gets jumped on. That is going to be a deicide out of Starboys, taking out all of Elevate.
Can't do it.
There's no way. Phoenix gets taken out. Joey Donut sacrifices his own life. Can DaleyDale hold?
I mean, there's going to be fire creeps to even it out in mid lane, but he's the only one left to defend. But the issue that they have right now is Delnyy and Joey Donut are dead for a solid minute. Kenshin just spawned. DoctorL is going to be up pretty soon too.
I think the thing that Elevate are going to go for here is Fire Giant, guaranteed before they start aggressing here. I don't think that the travel time between their base to Starboys' base is enough time to take advantage of Delnyy and Joey Donut's respawn timer, but it is going to be enough time to exploit the numbers advantage on that Fire Giant.
Securing the Fire Giant, though, would just make it all too easy for Elevate to look to try and all in the Titan simply because of how much damage that Titan has already taken. It is so low right now.
It's less than 50% health, and a Titan that's that low with no more towers remaining, two Phoenixes down here, makes it more vulnerable, less protections, less physical power to be able to keep itself alive. And Starboys really need to figure out a way to hold on to this if they want to find a clean 2-0 victory.
And here's the Fire Giant secure that they were looking for that we just talked about. They really just want to lock this one down. And Kraken probably not even necessary on that. Not sure why he would burn the ultimate there as opposed to holding it for the Titan room, but he's gotta be feeling confident about not wanting to lose that Fire Giant.
I mean, as casters, we can clearly see everything around the map, but as a player, sometimes you might not have the necessary vision, so you don't always know who's behind the Fire Giant if you don't have a ward right underneath. And if Clow is right around the corner, one chain lining against some of your members will make things more annoying than it needs to be. But with all 5 members from Elevate securing the Fire Giant, 50 minutes of play here, Elevate are looking to close out this game and find a split.
And I think that that's exactly what they're going to be able to do. It's going to be incredibly difficult. Starboy's execution is going to have to be flawless if they want to hold off this Titan siege.
Starboys need to figure out a way to hold Elevate. They need to figure out a way to confirm and convert their advantage. Looking like they want to split some of their forces here. Gryphon on the right, Mr. Teep on the mid. Not something that you really want to do as a Fire Giant squad. You just want to group up here. Supernova even being used in the backline. Darwin Pillars, they're committing under the Titan, and with all the damage that was taken earlier on, it's going to be a split here. Starboys falls to Elevate in game number 2.
Completely ignoring everybody on the side of Starboys. All Elevate wanted to do was just commit to that Titan.
And a great performance out of Elevate here. Just a long barn burner here in this one. Honestly, it's a 50-minute game number 2, a 30-minute game number 1. Evenly matched here. You could really tell that these two teams have a lot of their tactics in line.
They managed to make it work in the end as well because I was so back and forth. Game number 1, I think, would lean a little bit more in favor of Starboys, but in game number 2, I think that Elevate just really had control, got a little bit sloppy with some of the team fight engagements, but in the end, they closed it out, and that's what really matters.
And if there's a player that I'm looking at of Elevate, I'm looking at DoctorL here. Playing that Susano in that last game was just all over the place, making it really happen when it counted. Finding the not the first blood, but responding to the first blood, losing Mr. Teep, taking advantage of Zeus out of position there, always at the right place, even making the necessary adjustments here this time around into the solo lane. Despite not finding the great plays from the Thor in game number 1, he still didn't stop trying to gank Delnyy out.
He really helped out Mr. Teep a lot of the time, just ensuring that he had the peel available for his mid laner, and that's really what he needed to look for, because typically you expect the Susano to be the setup factor, but the amount of times that he saved Mr. Teep with the Susano was actually pretty incredible as well.
Yeah, and with that split, we're going to take a quick look at the standings here out of North America. Elevate, they're after this one split now. Elevate, they go from 1 to 2 points right now, and we're going to see Elevate actually go to 3. Starboys are the ones that go to 2, but we're going to take a look at this quick schedule here because we got some more North American action here after this set. Obey Alliance is going to be taking on Astral Authority, but just to recap earlier on today, we saw some European action as well. 2-0 clean sweeps across the board, but this next set, Astral Authority against Obey Alliance.
And I think a lot of people have been anticipating this one for a very long time. You saw the performance that Astral Authority were able to have at the Masters LAN, and now it's Obey Alliance, the defending world champs. They're button heads, and who's coming out on top, I think will make things incredibly interesting for that path to Valencia.
And to wrap things up, we're going to be seeing Strictly Business against Sword Gaming to close out the day. But this next one, Taco, here, we just saw a barn burner. Expecting a slobber knocker in this one.
You just love Golden Boy, don't you?
Who doesn't love Golden Boy?
I mean, I do too. So he probably doesn't love me anymore after the Stone Cold Steve Harvey. He'd probably be crying if he knew that that actually happened.
How can you make that mistake? Well, no mistakes here out of the SCL. We'll be back after the short break with the set 4 of the day.
For the ones that are